Coming up in the public eye today, or roughly monthly conversation with Ralston Hyman, the producer, presenter of that great business program on Power 106, Real Business. And I'm particularly interested in his views on an important announcement that was made by Keith Duncan of the EPOC, the Economic Oversight Committee, yesterday, that Jamaica for this quarter has a current account surplus, something we haven't had for a long, long while. What does that mean? Sounds much better. Things are improving. But what is the significance to the ordinary Jamaican? Same time we had that, we had notice in the papers that the fruit and vegetables and local produce for the Christmas season are going to be more expensive and maybe scarce. After 1 o'clock, we join Ambassador Curtis Ward, veteran diplomat in Jamaica's service, watcher of foreign affairs and concerns. We here are not at all clear what Venezuela is up to in respect of our brothers and sisters in Guyana. Serious issue, great problems, and there's much more. So stay with us on the Public Eye on the Bridge 99 FM. You won't catch this anywhere else. Mr. Charles, sir, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Good. I wonder what are some of your main concerns today. I wanted to you know, I'm a Bible man, but this is not a Bible quote. But I wanted to read you a quote in the Observer newspaper today. It comes from an article that is entitled "Sykes: More to Fighting Crime Than Stricter Laws and Harsher Penalties." Okay, and here is a quote. It says, "This is why you find that persons will say that harsh penalties and draconian punishments by themselves can never, ever reduce crime. So we'll have to think about other things." You know who said that?
Well, before you tell me who said that, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I would have said that.
Yeah.
Because one side is something that caused that.
Yes.
So unless you deal with the other side,
Exactly.
you're going to have a problem.
Exactly.
So who said no?
That's the Chief Justice of Jamaica.
I agree with that.
Yeah. But he gave another statistic that I want us to meditate upon, and that the rate of conviction of cases that come to the court, the Supreme Court, criminal cases, the rate of conviction is not higher than 30%.
What does that mean?
That means that 70% of all those who are charged with a criminal offense and who are tried in the court, whether by jury or by judge alone, are found not guilty.
Well,
no.
Whoa. Does that mean that in your personal feeling you think that all of them not guilty? What? Or they're not, the presentation does not convince the judge sufficiently to charge them as is documented for a crime?
The latter, just what you last said. My experience, I've been practicing law for 52 years, is that by and large, the judiciary, the judges of this country, are fair-minded, honest individuals. I have no reason to think otherwise.
Well, I had the privilege of speaking to a judge once. And I was surprised he said that it is a presentation of the person who is charged or who is acting on behalf of the person that the judge goes by, not what he thinks or what he hears.
Yes.
Right? It is what is documented and put before him.
The evidence in before him.
So, to the point where, I forget the name of this judge now, who said, you may go, you're lucky.
Yeah.
Next time, you may not get away.
Sure.
Then he was convinced that he was guilty, but what was presented,
on the evidence, he couldn't justify a verdict.
Document that as a charge.
Clearly. So what happens though? My own experience, which is largely observation, because I haven't been in the criminal courts for many years doing other kinds of law, is that cases, evidence, are very badly brought, and that a lot of the impunity that criminals feel is because of the inefficiency of the police.
Well, don't. I don't know. I don't like the word inefficiency because the thousands of police who are out there are not all are capable of making a statement.
I'm not claiming all either, but
many of those who are writing a statement cannot convince the judge that this statement would not be overturned whether in Caribbean or Britain. Because when he goes to Britain, he doesn't know what's going on in Montego Bay. He goes by what is given to him.
Yeah, but first of all, minuscule numbers of cases go to Britain.
Well.
But I know what you mean. It goes to higher courts.
The higher courts, yes.
But where we are dropping down is in the preparation and the dispatch in which criminal cases are dealt with. I know of a man who is on remand now, accused with murder. He has been on remand for over 3 years.
Yes.
Now, apart from that being cruel to him if he is innocent, yes, a life mashup. But it is cruel to the victim's family who are waiting for justice. And also, it is likely that there may not be a just outcome to the case because witnesses on either side are not hanging around waiting to testify. Some gone away, some dead, some moved on with their life.
So you are in the court. What would cause a case like that to be dangling in the prisons rather than bring before the attorney judge?
Because there is such a crush. There are so many. Take the case that was in the news in Jamaica yesterday, sir. That was the case, well known to both of us, of the late Keith Clark.
Yes.
Uncle of Minister of Finance, Nigel Clark.
Yes.
Who was killed by security forces during the state of emergency in 2010. Now, it was a complicated case, yes, because of certain laws, certain things. But in 2023, it don't try yet.
Well, what is there to try? Because you and I, outside the court, know of the complication.
But that makes it all the more necessary that it should be tried.
But why is it not being tried?
Because
you are in the court system.
No, I'm telling you, because
the
courts are congested, and they are dilatory. We need a very different system of how we organize the courts. We probably need twice the number of judges. We need technological improvement. So the judge, for example, still many judges are writing down every word.
Still,
not there have been improvements there, but it's not complete yet. Yes, and that slows it down. And there is such a congestion of cases. And I insist, from my experience, personal and anecdotal, very often, once the person is in custody or is charged, the police really take very little interest in the matter.
Because the police have to go after somebody else.
Maybe so, sir. But for whatever reason, you get this frightening figure, that after the society is losing $120 billion a year to crime and violence, of all the people that we pat ourselves on the back and say, look how many cases are cleared up, look how many people are arrested, look how much state of emergency we have, only 30%, 3 out of every 10, are in fact convicted.
Well, Roddy,
not good.
My father was a police.
Yes, sir.
And I many times wonder about things in the past that I know of.
Uh-huh.
When somebody call him and say, this man, me see him, sir.
Mm-hmm.
You see him, you're there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, me wasn't there, sir, but me know, from who see him, me know see him, see.
Yeah.
And
no, you can't carry that.
No, you see, he would be trying case, as a district constable.
Yeah.
So he tried case before him reach to Brownstone.
But of course.
Right?
Because that how him quote unquote tried the case at Lime Tree is whether he make a decision that he's going to carry it to Brownstown or not.
And that's right. And when he goes to Brownstown, he has to convince the Sarge or the corporal why you bring this man here.
Of course.
So you just hear a man come
it goes through several filters, and that's good. And we must improve on that.
Yeah, but Ronnie, we have hundreds, probably 1,000 more policemen today. 1,000 more crime people committing crime.
Mm-hmm.
When a policeman goes out there, it's not all policemen can write a statement properly. You know?
No, then they shouldn't be out there then.
No, you cannot say that.
No, Daddy P. Listen to me.
It's not all teachers can teach
No,
maths.
Daddy, but listen. There's certain essential things, because that man who you prepared to excuse out there who can't write a statement, he has the power of arrest. He has the power to take away what, after the right to life, is the most important right of any Jamaican citizen, the right to liberty.
So when 10 policemen goes out on a raid, and they are confronted and one man is dead, don't the leader decide who write the statement?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, I would hope that he decide that somebody who can write it.
All I'm saying is that the idea that police are so limited in their training and in their capacity, I'm frightened with that. But let me carry a little further, because you see, there's this situation that Mr. Justice Sykes speaks of, yes, is to me is behind the mentality of the state of emergency thing that so many people feel if you have a state of emergency, it's going to solve crime. It's not. It can't.
No, but what they mean is that if you have a state of emergency in my area, I feel more comfortable that police going to be there
for a while.
That the criminal is not going to come out on the front. That is all that is.
No, that's not what the government says.
Well, not all, but a lot of people are comforted.
Indeed, and I accept that. I accept that.
Well, yeah.
We acknowledge that. But unless you go to the anterior causes, the root causes, which Mr. Sykes is hinting at, and which you are and I both are agreeing with, you're not dealing with this matter. Now, the state of emergency is a nice band-aid where you put on it. But it cannot solve it, even if you kept it there all the while, unless you improve your investigative, your capacity to get a guilty verdict. As Mr. Sykes himself says, he says the criminal looking on says, boy, having a mandatory penalty of 50 years or 30 years makes no difference to me because I know I'm not going to get caught.
Yeah, but Ronnie, so when you speak like that, like some of the organizations that we have now, opposed to the police, opposed to the government.
I know, I'm not opposed to the police.
No. Some of them out there.
I don't think so.
I don't think there's one organization that is in support of the police.
Oh, heavens, yes.
None has been established to support the police.
No, but
none of the various organizations.
All right, let's move on and accept for the moment. But you can only support people when they're doing good, you know. You can't support them whether they do good or
not. So, Rana, let me ask you on that point. Over the past few months,
yes, sir,
or maybe years, maybe hundreds of people have been arrested at murder,
hundreds
and that.
Every night the government pay money to
How do you feel when those people are taken into custody?
How do I feel?
Yes.
I feel that they must be given a proper trial quickly, according to law. If they're found guilty, they must be given reasonable punishment.
Do we have the system that can try them early?
No, sir.
So therefore, but you can't leave them out there killing people.
No, but then the answer can't be, as we have been doing in the last few years, is to lock up people for endless amounts of time. And you don't charge them, or if you charge them, the evidence is so flimsy that no matter what they have done, they'll get away. Well, that's no way to have a peaceful society. You must accept that.
Pastor?
Yes. No, Pastor in this.
Pastor, I agree with you. Yeah. But Pastor, let me tell you something.
Yes, sir.
Some of the man name is so slick. Some of the gangster them. Hold on, man. Some of the gangster them. Some of the scammers them.
Yeah.
They are so slick.
Yeah.
That when you catch him,
so he's smarter than you.
The only thing when you get to the you hold him.
No, sir. So it's
and if settle, you keep the little area
No.
quiet.
So hold me. So we are gonna make him set the rules for us. No, sir. And then when you
so who will set the
the community must set the rules and must stick according to the Constitution and the rule of law. And what we are doing, yes, is covering up for the inadequacies of the justice system when we have these sentences that are mandatory and run for 50 and 30 years.
And I still ask you, what is your solution
I've told you.
to mandatory sentence?
Leave the discretion to the judge.
How the judge gets his discretion?
Indicate a
How
ban.
the judge gets his discretion?
He uses his head. He uses his knowledge of the law,
the judge acting on behalf of all of us.
And he makes reference to the evidence before him.
Yeah, but mandatory sentence does not remove the evidence before him.
And that's
mandatory
why, sir,
sentence is where the country, all the member of parliament representing the whole nation.
They are clueless individuals who are so frightened that they do, and so unwilling to do more that is needed that they opt for repression every time. May I take you to what seems to me?
You're going to take me, but a man just called me and said,
yes, sir.
All you, Mr. Twitter, that talk, not talk. Up here talking.
No, I'm not. Right? I think we're doing more than that.
You can't talk.
Nobody can say that to you and me, you know.
Well,
nobody can say that convincingly
the man
to you
just
and me.
believes,
yes.
Once you announce that you have a state of emergency, the criminal then run gone, and then they can't sleep for 2 nights.
So what it good for? Just that?
A temporary.
That's not what government say.
Next time we come back, I want you to tell me. I'm going to make you prime minister. I'm going to put you head of the cabinet. and I'm going to ask you to make a presentation to me as to how you would solve crime even in 5 years.
Yes,
I'll give you not 5 weeks, 5 months. 5 years.
What a responsibility you put on me.
And don't tell me that you're going to start to teach them from number 12 not to thief, not to rape, not to rob.
What I must tell you? Tell them.
Because they're 30 now.
Yes. Okay.
The bulk of them is between 27 and 35.
Sure.
So you tell me, how do I manage the bulk of that?
I genuinely believe that in several instances prior to now, I have been offering some suggestions. I do not claim to have all the answers, but what I do know is what is wrong and what is illegal.
Well, I'm giving you 10 to go home and do your homework.
What I think,
come back next week.
I who have no power whatever, and you who have access to great power are putting the responsibility on me.
No. The both of us have the same access to the same power that is available.
Of the word. Okay, I accept that.
This is the biggest power right beside the mouth.
Calling the microphone.
Yes.
Well, no. Before we take
the whole nation.
Before we take our guests, yes. What is worrying me now? We first of all, I'm just watching the CNN tracker, and it says that 2/3 of Americans think that Mr. Biden is leading the United States along the wrong economic policy, and that his own personal rating is down to 37%, which is the lowest of any president, apparently.
That bothering you?
Bothering me greatly.
Well, that's not what bothering me.
What's bothering you?
The alternative to Mr. Biden.
But of course.
Is Mr. Trump.
Yes. So that we get?
Well, so I'm asking you. Which one you on? Which side you on?
No, it's clear. I mean, for many reasons, many reasons, I have difficulty with both, but I have more difficulties with Trump.
So where are we now then? Me and you looking on how we going to survive?
We as Jamaicans, yes, we as Jamaicans need to. Rachel Madden wrote a book called Slipstream, yes, and we are in the slipstream of the United States. Yes, we suffer from the currents. We get some big wave and big lick and sometimes sink because of the currents that reverberate down the coast. Yes?
And sometimes come up on top.
So when? You have to tell me when. When last. And then so I'm worried about the slipstream. And I'm concerned that we have to do our business for ourselves. We have to deal with our economy and our society in a way that we mitigate. We can't get away from it.
Can you give me 10 seconds to tell you what a man told me yesterday?
Yes, sir.
He said, Mr. Charles, we have war in Ukraine. That's Russia is on war.
Russia going to win.
We have war in Israel and Palestine.
Israel going to genocide the Palestinians.
Right. We have war now in Venezuela and Guyana. And guess what? You know the biggest war is?
Where?
America.
Why is that?
And Mama wake up last night from the dead and tell me, God soon come for him country because, listen, war is coming again.
On that basis, with that dream that Pernell had, which is surely very probative, we take a break on the public eye. When we come back with John Ralston Hammond, what's the state of the Jamaican economy going into the end of 2023? I'm sure you need to know. This is the public eye on the Bridge 99 FM. Honorable Pernell Charles Sr. and myself are welcoming Ralston Hammond, economist, presenter, producer of Real Business on Power 106. Ralston, greetings again.
Greetings, Ronnie. Greetings, Sir P.
I want you to give me a name that you'll be comfortable with, because I don't think Ronnie is giving you the right name. Where you are, what would you like Jamaicans to see you as?
Whatever Ronnie said.
This was not rehearsed at all, Ralston. I assure you.
You want to hold that until next week?
Yeah, man, I have no problem with what Ronnie said.
Next time.
Because what he said is accurate.
Ralston, tell me now, what is the state of the Jamaican economy as 2023 draws to an end? Where do we stand? Where does the ordinary Jamaican fit into some of the news that's being given? We were particularly elated yesterday, should we be, that the current account has a surplus this quarter gone, where we have been in chronic deficit for years. Talk to us.
Well, I mean, what Mr. Duncan is doing is misleading the Jamaican people in relation to his interpretation of the numbers. So while we have a current account surplus of $352.4 million, this surplus is not generated mainly by our own efforts. It is generated by the generosity of Jamaicans who are living and working abroad in terms of the remittance flows. So that's the major item in that surplus, which is concerning because we are not earning our way. If we pulled out those remittance flows, then we'd have a current account deficit of over $3 billion.
He raised the contribution of the tourist sector as well.
Well, the tourism sector is contributing more, but bear in mind that we only make 41 cents from every dollar that is spent by the tourists. Yeah, so we have the flows from the tourism sector. We had some recovering in terms of exports, but the bulk of that money is still from the remittance flows, which is our largest source of net foreign exchange earnings.
Yeah, but what's wrong with that? Just that it is fickle? That it's somebody else's economy contributing to ours?
Precisely, it's somebody else's economy contributing to ours. And it's also pointing out to our inability to earn our way from our own efforts.
So the conclusion then that understanding the equations that you have set out, the conclusion then that many Jamaicans will come to, are coming to, is that the best way for me to get through or to help my family or whoever, the economy, is to go abroad and earn plenty and send back some?
Yeah, man, it's to run away. Yeah, man.
That's before you answer that, because I want to take the other side of it. It is Jamaican who have trained using Jamaican money, Jamaican effort, Jamaican teachers, Jamaican doctors that train many, not all, many who are sending back this money to the Jamaican. What is wrong with that?
Good point.
It's not good investment.
What would have been better if we had them here working in Jamaica and helping us to develop Jamaica, so we'd have a better education system, so we'd have a better transportation system, so we'd have to be thinking about importing labor in order to fill some of the positions that we want to fill here. And that would have led to faster economic growth.
But you don't just get work, so you know, my brethren. Jamaican cannot put all of who is working abroad in a work in Jamaica. So
no, because we have not been developing the economy the right way. If we were managing the economy the right way, then we could employ a lot more of those people in Jamaica to add to value in Jamaica, rather than adding value to the U.S. economy and sending back the change to Jamaica.
I cannot object to that.
No, you can't.
Except to say that we are not in a position to employ probably, I don't know what percentage of who is abroad now trained by us, teachers, doctors, lawyers, police, trained and working abroad, trained by Jamaican taxpayer. So if they are contributing to Jamaica making go a step forward, what is wrong with that? In fact,
what is wrong with that is that
that's why you answer that. I went to Canada, and Mexico had their ambassador there. They were
Philippines.
The Philippines, they have their ambassadors there seeking work for people who they have trained in their country. And those people go abroad, work, and send the money back to their country. What is wrong with that?
That's I'm explaining to you.
I'm not an economist, but that's a part of the economy.
And I'm explaining to you ad nauseum what is wrong with that. I'm saying that they're adding more value to the American economy and then sending back the change to the Jamaican economy. And I'm saying to you that if we had them adding more value to the Jamaican economy, we would have been growing faster than we are growing.
I can't object to that. That is
no, you can't.
No, I wouldn't.
No, but then
I'm intelligent enough to not.
So therefore, I mean, it's quite clear. The teachers who are sending back, who are abroad and sending back money, yes.
Yeah.
The truth is that we don't have replacements for them here.
Exactly.
No.
And therefore, what happens is you have a perpetual situation where you are dependent upon those who may or may not send you from abroad. Hopefully they will continue to do so. But there is a different alternative. When are we going to recognize, yes, some people will always go abroad. This will always be a feature of our economy. We may well, like the Philippines or Mexico, train people intentionally to go abroad. But what we can't do, we cannot do that at the expense of our own development. Which is in fact what is happening. But numbers people in the financial sector really don't check for that. They just check for the books to balance.
Precisely. They are doing no qualitative analysis. Yeah.
What moving from that though, it is better that we are in a current account surplus. Is there any pullback in the quantum and value of imports, Ratson Hyman? Isn't it a fact that the lower imports for the period under review by Duncan is in fact takes into account or is influenced by lower than expected price of oil? And can that continue?
That's one. And two, remember the 2021, what we're comparing, I want the people to understand. This is a point estimate. We're comparing 2021-22 with 2022-23. Mm-hmm. So imports in 2021-22 were 4.7 billion because of the low oil prices. The world was just coming off the COVID-19 thing. Those imports jumped to 6.7 billion in 22-23.
Whoa. Right.
Yeah, and imports for the calendar year 23 was $7.7 billion. So the imports are climbing, and the exports are climbing, but they are not climbing as fast as the imports. The ratio is 4-1. For every $1 of exports, we have $4 of imports.
Yeah, which we have to make.
Are we importing too much things?
Yeah.
We put
things that we should be producing in Jamaica.
Too many things are the wrong things, because I would like to see the importation of capital goods, of spare parts for manufacturing, for things that startup business needs. But what we are doing is importing cheese sticks and old car.
Yeah, but
1.1 million for the first 7 months. We did 1.1 million in food and consumer goods, $1.5 billion in oil. All those things.
But let me ask you now. I'm going to ask Ronnie, and you answer it for him. So, Mr. Tweets, when Mr. Anjonis put a restriction on certain things, food, clothing, this, that, cars, what is your colleagues or friends going to say?
I don't know.
They're going to congratulate him?
No. Probably not, because
they're going to say, put me there so I can bring in more.
Yeah, which is
so the political sympathy you are talking about, which Randstad don't agree.
Anybody Charles Hyman Thwaites and anybody listening to us must understand that if that is the basis on which you're going to direct your policy, it's fools, because the side that says put me in and I will restore the high levels of imports can't do it. Or if they do it, it will have the same disastrous
deleterious effect on the economy. Yeah.
We have to move beyond that, Ralston.
Yeah, man.
And that's the purpose of our discourse here, to say that there is another way of doing it. If we would stop looking around to see who is going to, who is Jew or Gentile, who is going to elect and who is going to lose.
Whether I want to look around, I want to look back. You look back and tell me, when was it that it's not that?
No, I accept that we've been going in the wrong direction in terms of contestation and therefore bad policy for generations. But all of us have children and grandchildren. You can't go on so.
So I have to make a change, yeah.
That's running to it here. So that's a terrible man. So I'm going to show my children. but Mr. Hammond, Ralston, tell us though, seriously, we have a restraint. I think the biggest restraint we have in Jamaica is the political restraint. Because if you do certain things that you think is good, should be good, and should do things, the other going to say, you're wasting the time. If I were there, I would do this. And it is the most dominant factor in the situation that we are in. How do we get over that?
I believe, go ahead, Ralston, because I believe that the financial sector is in fact, if not equally powerful or influential, it is highly influential in the way that decisions are made by the political directorate.
Yeah, well, somebody will have to come into government that says that we are going to do what is right for Jamaica, even if it costs us the election, such as what took place between 2012 and 2016. Put Jamaica first and do the things that are right.
Okay.
Which means also belling the cat in the financial sector.
Yeah. A couple of other things. Finance Minister Clark announced recently the doubling of the personal allowance for imports when you come into the airport. And it is suggested that this is going to have a tempering role on inflation, but it does come at a cost for the revenue. Is that really so? It struck me as being a nice thing, but not likely to be of any significance. I don't know. I don't travel often, but I never been charged duty on anything that personal effects that you bring in, or even if you bring in spare parts or electronic equipment then. But is this really a big concession that can make a difference? I don't think so.
No, that's just cheap politics. That's not going to have any significant impact on the economy. It's just about cheap politics playing to the local government election. Just like the comments from Keith Duncan that we are now a net exporter of goods and services. That's absolute rubbish in economics.
But, Ralston, politics, I don't know how expensive it is from your side, but from my point of view, you got to do what the people will support. If you are going to be in politics,
even if it is wrong,
no, it can't. What Ronnie said a while ago, I think, is wrong. He is not saying you must bring in more. He's saying that what you have been bringing, you were paying more from it, and he's prepared to take less. So he's not saying you have to bring in any more. But you're going to pay him less for what you bring in.
I would like to see, you see, for example.
You're going to answer that? You concede?
No, I don't. I think I'm going to answer by suggesting something to you.
Okay.
I would like to see the heavy importation of solar panels.
Yeah, man, that's what we want to see.
Or the ingredients that go into solar panels or wind turbines.
Those are the things that should get the incentives.
Okay. I would like to see a reduction, if not a cessation, of the gas guzzling cars, no matter what they look like, and an encouragement of really efficient public transportation.
Correct.
And eventually, for those who can afford it and need it, electric cars.
Yeah, man.
Okay, I would like to see spending a whole heap of money on ensuring a really scientifically adept food production. And I would like to see, whether it's public or private money, a whole heap of money spent on restoring mined out land. And I would like to see a public resources. You don't need to import on this, but you may need to import some specialists only to transfer their technology, who would really revolutionize the education system.
That would accelerate growth and lead to more foreign exchange earnings and reduce our dependence on the remittance flows. Those are the positive things that we want to see. Those are things that would make a difference.
Okay.
According to what we have now, what do we have to give up to bring that?
To do those things?
Yes.
We'd have to change our political will.
Say that again?
And our political will.
How would you change the political will? What is the will you're talking about?
The will.
Who is in power and who is out?
Yeah, the will. The changing the political will means.
Rastan, why are you laughing?
No, because you're ending up. You're putting yourself in a dead end street.
Yeah.
The political will means that people like you and me on different sides of the political fence.
Yes.
Okay. Recognize that what is happening can't take us where we want to go.
Precisely.
And therefore we have to sit down and do something else.
Yeah, man.
And if we do it together, we have a chance of succeeding. Whereas if we contest it and say, me are going to do it and I know you are bad, and vice versa, yes, we are going to continue to be on the treadmill of Sisyphus.
Jogging on the spot, yes. Not going anywhere.
Ralston, you know what the problem is? We can't find a system like Bridge has done to put a mic before Ronald Thwaite and a mic before Pernell Charles and say to us, speak your mind, speak it fairly, cause it what it will.
It will, yes. That's
he
what
who
we need.
hide it wrong, he does the wrong thing still.
Still, yes.
Right? And I don't know that the political system we operate
but
can or will ever.
Come we talk it straight.
We have to demand that is changed for the benefit of posterity. The people of the country, you, me, and everybody else.
Why we broadcast, why we telecast. Yep. But it seems to me that we are in a position now where, frankly, the financial system is wagging the political dog.
Yeah, man.
When was it not?
No, maybe not, sir, but...
When was it not?
Sir.
Well, we can say that, Sir P, it is more intense now than before. They are more
and you know why it is? Because it is bigger now than it has ever been.
No,
that's one, and the authorities are conflicted. The minister and the governor, they are conflicted.
Tell me explain that to me, please. Well, I want to be able to say it after you, but you have to explain to me.
The minister is a former member of the banking sector who operates more like the president of the Bankers Association than the Minister of Finance of all Jamaica. The governor of the Bank of Jamaica operates more like a banker as a former banker than a career central banker. So he's easy on the financial sector and allows them to do what they want to do. He's falling down on his regulatory requirements. Simple. And we say that without any apology.
Give me a name of who is suffering now. You go through the bankers,
no, the ordinary people are suffering. Look at the people.
The ordinary people who can't get their money from the ATM machines. The ATM machines don't work.
No.
The ordinary people are charged all of these fees.
Yeah.
Yes. And the governor sits down and does nothing.
The resistance to Fitzjackson's little motion.
Precisely, yes.
By both Clark and Biles.
Yes.
When in fact that would be the smallest but symbolically, sacramentally significant step in favor of people's rights and the financial system.
I mean what? With
the banking fees. The same thing that come up in your account and mine.
Well, that is not in my ice cream money.
But it's a sign.
Sir P.
Oh, probably when you put a lot of it together, you can buy bread.
No, man, that's a whole lot of money. And that's why the banks are reluctant to lend for productive purposes, because they can make super profits by charging all of these fees. The ATM machines doesn't work.
Why? Why the ATM?
Why?
Because just not.
Because a criminal
not working.
Because a criminal broken them?
No.
No.
And even if it were so, you have to for money in there. Them have to give they have to give us a cheap and way to get it out. They're already cheapening us by the fact that the interest rate nothing.
Precisely.
Take another one instance. This is one, Ransom, that really aggravates me, and I know Pernell resonates with this for obvious reason. yes, you cannot get a loan to do agriculture in this country, you know.
No.
So when the picture yesterday, last night on the television, shows the banana and the ackee and the sweet potato and everything else, and tells the people of this country that the minister himself, and he's a well-intentioned man, I believe, Mr. Green, has to get up in Parliament and admit that life is going to be harder at Christmas time.
But Ronnie,
look at it. Don't tell me about drought and flood.
But drought and flood and 2 foot posts are the 3 largest problem we have.
So what you have to do is to secure agriculture scientifically in a way that prevents some of those losses. And the minister, I wonder if he understood his own contradiction last night. Is telling us to celebrate because 27 farmers had crop insurance and got money from it. When it's about 270,000 who need it.
But 27 is a start.
Oh God, yes, that's a start. So, but you know, it know what?
A very slow start.
We have far way to go.
Oh my!
But
and in the meantime, Hunger Belly is not something that postpone. You know, it happened.
And it is also going to affect the economic targets because, as the central bank governor is saying, that the rate of inflation is going to accelerate. We are now down to 5.1% because food is so important. 35% of the weight. We are going to see an acceleration in inflation December and going forward into the first quarter.
Well, let me tell you something that's going to make Ronnie beat me after you're gone. Because I went to Coronation Market, not only to buy my things, you know, but to see the amount of import food.
You see that,
in Coronation Market.
No, I'm not surprised.
Which coming from? Which coming from?
It's coming from anywhere that have it. From mostly through the United States, but some of it is Costa Rica, some of it is Dominican Republic, Honduras, Africa, anywhere. And the people who line up and get the licenses are making a killing because at this stage, on the eve of local government election, and in any event, government cannot refuse the import licenses. Both the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Agriculture acknowledge that this is so. I predicted it. I'm no.
The license are given to political.
No, they give.
Everybody get.
No, sir.
Selected few get.
You want to? You want to see Ronnie face? You look at me here now.
Because it's true, the favored few get.
So why are we doing this way?
Yeah,
you know, we don't need. We really could have a turnaround in the new year, Ralston.
Well, we don't see this at this particular point in time because apart from the agriculture people, although we are saying we are building a digital economy and a digital society, the people in the digital business, they are telling you that it is pulling teeth to get a loan from the bank to expand their operations too. So although we are saying that we are digitalizing and giving that a priority, the bankers are not giving that any priority. Yeah. They are giving the car loans and those loans a priority. The non-productive loans.
Credit card.
So who is the man that we need to call and bring to the table to talk to? Is it the Minister of Finance?
Minister of Finance.
Why you don't have a bank that deal with farmers? What's the name of the bank?
Agricultural Credit Bank.
Why you bank that up? Why you close that?
They closed down all of them.
Why?
Well, because many of the loans went sour, and it was thought it was unprofitable to do it. Certainly, National Commercial Bank, Barclays at the time took a beating on that. But that it can't stop there. We don't throw
the baby out with the bathwater.
It can't stop there. We have to decide. When we looked earlier to see what the world situation is. Yes, we have to make sure that we are doing things here to the benefit. No, not all equations fit, but when the Jamaica Urban Transit is able to get $12 billion of government money, yes, which exceeds the amount that it goes to feed school children who are hungry.
No, why you say the
Ronnie,
company?
You know those losses.
No, Daddy.
Those losses are now going to $16 billion, 0.6% of GDP. Cornwall Regional is now moving to $20 billion. Yeah, so if you add Cornwall Regional to JUTC, you're talking about $36 billion, or over 1% of GDP.
So are we? Is it that somewhere losing by bad investment or continuous?
Yes. Bad investment and mismanagement.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So how do you solution?
My view is that I've suggested it. You've heard me on this program that we need a different. And I'm no expert in public transportation, but we have to reposition JUTC as a carrier of school bus system and the elderly, and we have to regulate the private transportation system, which has grown so much for political and other reasons that it cannot be tamed now.
I don't know how you're going to do it, because I spoke to a man, put my formula that I was pushing.
Yeah.
That way you have a street where 10 people have 10 cars, and each of them only have 1 or 2 passengers. That we could have 5 cars carrying 3 people.
No, but that is what.
And the man said to me, "How much carry you have, Mr. Trump?" So
exactly.
You see your wife have one.
But those are very personal.
The culture of the people.
But what you're doing, what we do, is to concede to negative cultural propositions every time, rather than recognizing that it cannot go so. It can go so if you want to have the yawning and increasing inequality of this society. If you really believe that every Jamaican is made in the image and likeness of God and ought to be able to flourish, you can't leave it so, Pernell.
No, but if you go back to where you started, and I was watching you because I was there too, it's a political system that is a problem.
Yeah, but you see, you and I went into politics to hopefully to do some good.
And run left it.
Well, it run left us. But what the very least we can do, if we didn't do it, we would be morally bankrupt, is to say, hey, that which we know well, that which we know the insides of. Yes, Ralston knows the insides of the economy. We are duty bound to say, listen, this one can't work, but if we do it this way, you have a better chance.
Precisely. We need to change it for the next generation. Yes, sir.
I want you to listen to this little point I want to make. We have a problem with the political system because the end of all the system hands the cap to one person and nothing to the others. And therefore, any adjustment that Ralston, who is probably non-partisan like me, and running.
Like you? Non-partisan. Like we are partisan. Yes, okay.
Right? We are trying to say, find a middle road, regardless of who we're the cap.
Yeah. Precisely. That's what we need to do.
Now you find out that the financial sector, which is the most powerful sector in the system, has its choice too. Who is going to work with? Who's going to make more tax? Who's going to give more investment opportunities? So you tell me, Mr. Tweet and Mr. Hyman, you guide me so that I can talk after you're gone. Talk like a big man talking to you. Because between me and you talking this thing, but my mother said talk and talk. No. There's a whole heap of talk.
Yeah, but
a plural talk.
But we're doing more than that. I, as you know, suggest a system that is of proportional representation, which inherently demands more cooperation than presently exists. Secondly, I propose that there needs to be a moral awakening among, if not the whole population, obviously, the leadership, which recognizes what Pernell Charles, I, and Ralston Hammond recognize, that the present system, whoever is in charge, cannot take you where the people need it to go.
Precisely, and most importantly, we have a responsibility.
Where the people should go.
Yeah,
because not all of them need to go there.
No, believe me, sir. When it comes to food, it's a need.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. When it comes to education, it should be a need.
Yeah, man.
When it comes to
transportation,
healthcare, these are basic things.
Basic social services.
It is an embarrassment that Mr. Lee Kwan, you could come here and could with his little little resources in Singapore. Yes, him could have get it. But we, with all of our resources and brightness, etc., can't get it after 62 years and find a situation where people, look here, people this Christmas go and eat, the majority of people go and eat less than them eat last year.
Well, the international agencies tell us that malnutrition is increasing in Jamaica.
What you and I and Mr. Ayman is now proposing requires them to eat less. Well, if we had to go forward, drive less cars.
Yes, sir.
Eat less food?
No.
Less importation?
No, that's not what
less
we're saying.
importation?
No. But concentrate on basics. Spend on what is meaningful. 12, 14, 16 billion dollars a year on JUTC is a bloody waste. And I am scandalized.
Regional starting at $2 billion and then ending up at $20 billion is a bloody waste.
I'm surprised that somebody like Nigel Clark, who is a conservative, right-wing economist, continues to shell out taxpayers' money. Not for him money.
Like a socialist?
No.
Yep.
What me you going to do with this one?
That's a massive contradiction. So even if you put it there, that's a massive contradiction.
Do you agree with me?
Do
you agree with me?
That one.
No, not forcing you. Let's pass on. Pass that one now.
Indeed, unfortunately, it's true.
It
is true. So come now. Come we use we head.
Yes.
Rather than we ego. It's two different things, you know.
Correct.
Head is wisdom. Yeah. Ego is another part of your body. I don't say how we're doing it. Yes, how we are doing it. When it's dead in front of us that we cannot. Look how easy the thing nearly turned over when the COVID come and the tourists never reach, or when the economy turned down in the United States
and the remittances
start go down. When the grandchildren say to you, but why should I stay here? What assurance do I have? Will you tell them?
Well, let me ask you.
Join the financial sector and get $30 million a year?
You are pushing transport. Where are you going to put the buses that you would carry to Jamaica? Which road? Where are you going to find a road to put them?
Yes, true.
One. Because I take two buses from Price Right to halfway tree across road.
But where we end up is doing nothing. Because
nothing.
And when you leave the situation the way it is, all it does is to multiply the problem. Because as you point out, go on Marcus Garvey Tribe and see what is there.
Yeah.
So what we have is then a system that feeds upon itself to the detriment of everybody, or all but a few. Yes, because the government need the revenue from the cars. Am I right, Ralston?
Yes. And the license.
Okay, and the license. Yes, and the
that
fuel.
Is why you need to stop giving out money with all of the kind of waste that you have, because the more you waste money, the more money you need from those licenses.
It stopped you on Raymond, Mr. What's his name?
Ralston Hyman.
Mr. Hyman, you stopped you and Mr. Hyman from paying any more taxes for the last many years.
No. Perdell, Lord have mercy.
But you can't waste 20 billion on Cornwall Regional. You can't waste 16 billion on JUTC, Sir P.
And making us have an unnecessary appetite for things like gasoline, which is half of the money where you pay is tax anyway. It's not freeing me from tax. It is merely collecting it from my back pocket.
It's a good thing you have money in the back pocket.
Well, if I don't have any money, I go sit on the street corner.
Me don't have none in the side pocket.
So, Ralston, what are the signs that we see now?
Ralston, let me congratulate you. You did something a while ago. You have done it 3 times today and marked them down that I never knew you were capable of doing.
Okay.
The way you laugh. It means something to me.
Yes.
I have watched you for years. And I've never seen or heard you laugh
so you get
as you have done. And I think, no.
but it takes serious thing, make joke.
No. Let me tell you something. It's a big part of medical situation.
Yeah, man. Lighten up. Yes.
Well, but it's serious matters. We're looking for a new surge in the in the new year. I'm looking for our diaspora audience, Ralston, to gain insight from discussions such as this, from the programming of Real Business and the Bridge, so that they feel that more than just sending back a remittance, they can invest in their country. Yes, and not just invest in land and hope that it appreciates. That's okay, but invest in the real economy. Yes.
But we have to improve their confidence level by giving them more ability to participate in the decision-making process. We just can't take their money, and then they have no say in the decision-making process.
Quite true. And
I'm going to challenge you, Ralston. I want to challenge you that let us put all of these programs that we can make suggestions, the three of us,
well,
suggestions of what is not happening now and what we think could happen, and make it a better place for all of us to live.
Correct. Because here's what are the things that we see coming in the new year, Ronnie. We're falling back within the annual average 1% growth per annum region. And that's not good. We're falling back there.
Yes.
So we have to do things to accelerate that process.
Yes. Thanks always for your analysis. Caesar's greetings to you. Check you again in the new year.
Yeah, man. Same to you and everybody.
All the best.
Rastan
Hammond, economist, financial analyst, and conceptualizer, producer and presenter of Real Business on Power 106, and monthly contributor to The Public Eye on the Bridge 99 FM. We soon come. This is a Bridge 99 FM, and the program is The Public Eye. The Honorable Pernell Charles is the co-host. We are running up in 2024 early to a municipal election, what our listeners abroad remember as a parish council election.
Yes.
What are the real functions of the parish council that we are going to have this big choice about?
Well, you know how much it's going to cost to run it.
Over $1 billion.
1 point something billion.
Wow.
And how often have you heard the complaint that not even the garbage is collected?
Always.
How often have you heard the complaint that the pipe has been broken in the district?
Yeah.
And you've never heard that a councillor go for the water commission man and say, fix my pipe.
Yeah.
There are certain things that he could do well
in
a district.
Why isn't he doing it?
Because you don't have a culture for that.
No, but then why? So if you don't have a culture for that, what is the significance of this?
Well,
election?
I won't call name, but I can tell you there were times when people were wondering whether or not there was any use for this.
Well, Mr. Seago was one, and there were many others. Now, I believe in the principle of subsidiarity. That I think that people at the local level ought to be given the maximum opportunity to do the things that they are capable of doing, rather than those things being subsumed by a higher authority. But we lack a clear definition of function for the local authorities, one. And two, we lack the methods of assessing and judging how effective they are in carrying these things out. Well, and as a result, I think it is a reasonable question to ask. Are we going to simply elect another set of councillors who will be in no better position to carry out those things that you just mentioned, Pernell, than the ones before? And if so, what is the point of that?
Well, I will tell you, there are some particular, I don't know much about the young ones, but there are some older councillors who are councillors in their division.
Yes, sir.
People call on them.
Yes.
People expect them.
Yes.
They stay with them.
But do they have the power to do the things needed?
That if the pipe break, they either go to beg somebody, or they don't have the money to call it.
So,
I was councillor in the Denham Town division for about 10 years. But what did I do?
Well,
because the member of parliament was Edward Seago, and he runs his constituency. So, and I'm sure that I never had any objection because I am part of his run-ins.
Yeah.
But there are some places where I don't think that the MP
even if that
have anything to do because they don't have any work, no money to do it.
But it shouldn't be that. Here you have Mrs. Holness, the Member of Parliament for East Rural St. Andrew, quoted in the press this morning as saying the Constituency Development Fund, $20 million to each MP is inadequate.
It's waste of time.
To meet the needs.
But you know that it's waste of time. Because I have one road in North Central where it needed $30 million for the road. And they give me $20 million for the whole constituency.
Yes, it was never intended to do that.
What was it intended to do?
It was
send children to school, help the people and buy medicine for children.
But let me come back.
The old man buy a plant.
Yeah, let me come back to the issue that you raised. What you are doing is you are simply finding ways to cobble a system together that may or may not meet certain needs, rather than to have a very clear definition of roles and a commitment to certain levels of investment.
You said something this morning which I want to take 10 seconds to tell you.
Okay.
I sent you a letter from Lee Kuan Yew.
Yeah.
He wrote it from the grave.
Yeah.
I want you to read it again.
Okay.
Because there's nothing in there that could work in Jamaica.
But then, yeah, but you're conceding.
I would be allowed to work.
Okay, but you're conceding to something which oppresses many people. The Prime Minister Holness is right. Institutions change culture. The media, for example, is one institution. The churches are another. The schools are another. There are many. We have to put influence so that the culture does change. The culture of Jamaica is changing very, very quickly, but not always in a good direction. But in terms of our governance, which has so much to do with people's commitment to their country, yes? For God's sake, man, can rather than just rush blindly into our local government elections in January or February, costing a whole heap of money with a whole heap of rare, and at the end of the day, what you have? Circus, no bread.
No.
What are you good at that?
No. You have the beginning of who's going to wear the cap. Right?
The cap.
The cap is Jamaica House.
So what it is an exaggerated opinion poll.
So is an opinion poll.
So that can cost so much. Better you get Mr. Anderson to do constituency polls. He will tell you for less money.
No, but
and not edge up your teeth, so.
Maybe I forget Mr. Anderson and Mr. Bandison, because I told them you need to have in their own pool.
Well, let me tell you, we can do things better, and we are wedded to a system which obviously does not take us where we want to go.
Put it this way, will not.
Yes. So one of the reasons.
Hold the word. Whatever you want to say. Mm-hmm. Things in Jamaica today are probably 150 times better than when and where I was born.
Yes, sir, but excuse me. The people who are listening to us and the people who we have spawned in our family and in our various things are really, they are benignly interested in
where we're coming from.
You're coming from.
But they want to know where we're going.
But no, hello. Food is everyday business, you know.
No, Ronnie, I do agree with you. If you cannot tell me where I'm coming from, then you cannot guide me as to where you want me to go.
I would be the last one to disrespect history. On the contrary, but I'm telling you that after you're done say that, yes, you still have to tell me how today Bulla going to go.
Yeah. You know, that's why we can work together.
Yeah.
You say, well, after you're done say that. You have to speak to somebody in the diaspora. And let us say something to the diaspora. You brothers and sisters who are in Britain, Canada, United States, and around the world. Mm-hmm. Because remember, I went to a place, I think it was Greenland, and I said, what if they have a Jamaica up here? And so you're talking to the man who is vice president of that is a Jamaica.
Look at that.
Anywhere you go. So therefore, Jamaicans were trained here. Investment put in their head and in their heart, because they're going to exercise their head, but their heart is back home. And if we ever hear them say them not sending nothing for Christmas, you're in trouble.
Well, no. Before that, just before Ambassador Ward comes, what got into Auburn Hill? Let me say this. Mr. Auburn Hill is a minister of something. I don't remember what. But he has declared his uncompromising support for Israel in their fight against Hamas. Okay? A position quite different from the measured position that the government of Jamaica has taken, albeit latterly. Okay? Now, Mr. Hill can have whatever opinion he wants. But what bothers me is his state of mind. Because his state of mind is obviously a blinkered and tunnel one, where he cannot see proportionality. He cannot see gray areas. He only see one line. And if he brings that to the art, not just of saying who he supports in the Middle East, but to the act of governance, then he's a dangerous person. He should not be there.
Put it this way, somebody's waiting to hear what is my answer to that.
Right.
I don't know of any cabinet where all members were thinking the same way. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you that at the end, the decision of the cabinet stands, even though maybe 3 or 4
individuals
people
who have a different. Right? Okay, so I accept that, and but my concern is not only with the extreme position that he has taken, which in my view is an untenable position, morally, but and practically. But what concerns me is the state of mind, where you are so contemptuously disregarding the life, the humanity of the people who are being slaughtered in Gaza.
Do you know I have a problem, Ronnie? I will not allow myself to sit like I've been doing it for the past few weeks and turn to either the station, BBC,
Al Jazeera,
right, or the American CNN, and listen to how many babies are being killed, how many children are being killed, and lately, since yesterday, how many Israeli women were raped.
No, but
whether that is true or false, somebody said that it is.
Let us assume that it is true,
right?
Until proven otherwise. Terrible, egregious, condemnable. Yes. That is where we stand.
Yes.
But
the overall situation.
But saying that does not make me anti-Palestinian.
No.
And saying that the Israelis have gone mad in Gaza, in killing 15,000 plus people.
And saying that they are going to kill or wipe out every man. This is whether a baby.
And so my minister here, who presides over and has to take decisions about things which will affect life in Jamaica, support that?
He's a minority in the government.
No, hold on.
Does he have a right to?
He has authority. He can have his view, sir. I'm concerned about his mindset mindset as applied to us. I want to be governed by people who are proportional, who are gentle, as the Prime Minister encourages us, who can see, shades of right and wrong, and come to some understanding about Jamaica's position, or local administration, whatever it is, based upon humane principles. Anybody who supports either what Hamas did or what the Israelis are now doing, blindly, completely, in my view, is unworthy of having any authority over me.
Well, let me say this to you.
Sorry, sir, please allow me. Even if they say it, okay, free country, right? If I am part of a collective which is led by somebody, who has a different view, then I would expect, if I go and say something like that, you as head of the collective would have to say, come now, say to the public, you may have heard this, but this does not represent what Jamaica represents.
In saying it, you say, I recognize that my colleagues and my leader do not think the way I think on this matter.
Well, he did say that, something to that effect. It was a personal view. Oh. And you know, and I know, you know more than I know, but I know it too, that if it was Bustamante, he would be out.
Well, is it Lady B?
Send a letter.
Him send a letter, yes? But hold on. It's not Buster alone,
No.
But leadership.
Where we stand for in Jamaica?
I had to express
what we defend
hard feeling when this Prime Minister had fired Green.
Okay, yes.
I thought that Green was on fire, doing such great, and so I expressed my wish, not opposing to the Prime Minister, wish that the Prime Minister would look at it and give him some time. He's young, and it happened. But I don't want to go any further.
I won't press you.
But just to read my mother's poem.
Yes, sir.
If your foot slip, you can regain your balance. But if your tongue slip, you cannot recall the words.
So be very careful. what you say.
You read the last line.
I read the last line, sir.
Yes.
And what I'm saying is that we all make mistakes and talk plenty and bleg ourselves, okay? But then, even though you can't recall the words, you can say that I'm sorry I said it, or I misspoke, and it makes some difference. I am concerned about a trend, a mindset that I detect more and more in people in authority, whether it is financial authority or political authority or religious authority in this country. Yeah. Yes, which is uncompromising, which has nothing to do with recovery, with resilience, with finding some common cause. Yes, but is narrow and is usually vindictive. And that is what Mr. Justice Brian Sykes is calling for as our earlier discussion. He's saying, you can't do this. It doesn't work. So you can vex all you want. You know, my colleague Delroy Chuck, who wrote for years in the Gleaner against mandatory sentences and all of those things now, and now comes to defend them.
Because he know we're in the cap.
Yeah.
And the blood is bleeding down his forehead.
Where it was before.
No, but I couldn't see it that time.
Why?
Well,
bright man, Rhodes Scholar.
You want to tell me you weren't seeing from the beginning?
No, but I'm saying to you that if you...
No. Don't stop me. You were not seeing from the beginning.
Seeing what?
Seeing a lot of things.
Yes,
a
sure.
lot of things that
When I see better, I do better. But when I turn turtle on myself, I have to ask, what credibility am I to me?
What does that mean? You're eating yourself?
Well, people do that, you know, sir. People devour their better selves.
Or it means
on the altar of some kind of expediency or curry favor or desire to be in the right company or camp. Yes, and I'm saying to us, we're not just live airy. We're just live according to simple principles where you love one another as you would want them to love you. We're not just think deeply. Yes, like Mr. Sykes say, and stop going as if you just run after people and beat down people and behave like the opposite of criminal, but with the same effect that somehow things will go better. No, sir.
Let me ask you a question. You read and can still do it because you have the copy. You think Lee Kuan could work in Jamaica?
Mm-mm.
Why?
Because a different culture.
Culture?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but what he exhibit his culture on is happening 100% almost in Jamaica.
No, I believe that there are certain philosophical principles of Oriental culture that significantly differentiate people's responses in Singapore or Malaysia or Vietnam, and then can be accepted here. However, I believe that we have a basis for our own liberty, for our own values and attitudes. I believe that we are basically a people who draw close to, who depend upon the Judeo-Christian principles. Not talking about Seventh-day Adventists or Roman Catholic now. Judeo-Christian principles. The sanctity of life, the love for the brethren, the respect for creation, the environment. There's some very basic things. And if we say that this
helping one another.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So if we hold on to these things of our better self and stop twist and turn and mash up our mouth, whether it is in Parliament or the pulpit or in front of the microphone, we're not going to go to better, man.
Ronnie, I like the way you put it.
Mm-hmm.
But I am worried
mm-hmm.
that the things that are around us, the thing that we aim for, is a big, my father word, humbug in the road.
Yeah.
That's humbug you.
I never see a man who is so blessedly influenced by his parents, you see, than this man I have here. We're going to take the break at 1:30, eh? And then invite Ambassador Ward. In the meanwhile, sir, there are things that we can do, that we can prepare ourselves for. We were discussing some with Rast and previous programs. And it is this kind of confidence that it seems to me is what Rastan was saying that the diaspora people really want. From coming up now to the local government elections, I just can't see one thing to get hot up about. I wish I had a real...
Yeah, what are we? You're objecting to having a local government election?
No.
You prefer if we didn't have it?
No. What I want is a clear indication of what is at stake in this local government, more than to see whether PNP or JLP are ahead. I want to see what it is that is going to be the refreshed mandate and the improved capacity of the councillors who are going to be elected, yes, to do a better job for the people.
Well, the councillor will tell us that they are ready if you can finance it.
Well,
finance
is part of it. Finance is undoubtedly part of it.
They're committed. Yeah. There's some committed councillors out there.
You know, Bruce Golding went part of the way towards what I'm thinking in your 2007 to 11 administration, where, if you remember, he did not appoint a minister of local government. He had it as a department because so that more authority could reside in the municipal corporations. They get money, you know. They collect money from people.
Yes.
They have to do with some of the basic things, where people can live, what you can build,
development.
All development is related
local water
to do that. So thank you. Now, though I've never been able to understand what was a parish council road versus a main road. But never mind, we can sort those things out. All I'm saying is give us a substance that we can really decide on and say, well, look, you have the better idea, or you look like you are the stronger person to do this. But that is not where we are now. We are hurtling towards an election at this exorbitant price that you remind me of. And we don't know is what we are doing. We take a break on the Public Eye. This is The Bridge, 99 FM.
You're a tough man.
This is the Public Eye on The Bridge, 99 FM. The Honorable Pernell Child Sr. and I are the compeers of this program. We welcome Ambassador Curtis Ward. Welcome, sir, and thank you. Ambassador Ward is there?
Oh, hello,
hi.
Yes.
Hi, can you hear us? Thank you very much for joining us.
Yes.
Good. Ambassador Curtis Ward, retired Jamaican diplomat, now located in the United States. Ambassador, both Pernell and I are scratching our heads about what has taken place in Venezuela, where an indicative referendum supported by a minority of voters predictably chose on Sunday last to say that what is it? Almost 2/3 of Guyana, the Essequibo region, full of minerals and valuable resources, is really part of Venezuela and not Guyana. And this morning, President Nicolas Maduro saying that he's instructing economic interests in Venezuela to effectively colonize the Essequibo. What is happening? How does this fit with international law? What should be the response of CARICOM countries? What are your thoughts?
You know, we're all scratching our heads, you know. So, but let me say this. First of all, to unilaterally claim the territory of another country is an act of aggression and in violation of international law.
Yes.
And we must understand that international law provides a rule-based system for governments to interact with each other. This issue was submitted by the Secretary General of the United Nations after years of trying to broker some agreement between two countries. It has been submitted to the International Court of Justice, which is an arbiter on border disputes and territorial disputes and so on. Venezuela decided that the court had no jurisdiction over it, which was nonsense. The court ruled that it did have jurisdiction, and in a most recent ruling, ordered Venezuela not to do anything to disturb the status quo, pending the decision, the full decision by the court as to the status of the territory. Now, Maduro has been pandering to certain sentiments within this country, politically motivated, to declare the region of Essequibo Venezuelan territory. His referendum, as you quite rightly said, was a very low turnout vote. The opposition party in Venezuela, the main opposition, opposed the referendum, but Maduro proceeded nonetheless. The international community tried to persuade him not to proceed with the referendum, but he did. Now, having, as he declared, victory and the endorsement of the people of Venezuela that this territory, which is a part of Guyana, is indeed a part of Venezuela, he has now taken one step further to instruct state agencies responsible for oil and gas exploration and for mining to establish new companies to exploit the resources of the Essequibo. He has also decided to establish a state agency to provide Venezuelan IDs to the current civilian population within the region.
I didn't know that.
He has overstepped, and certainly is in violation of international law.
But Ambassador Ward, Mr. Charles, if Maduro does those things, and there's any Venezuelan activity in what is known as the Essequibo, having drawn a new map of Venezuela to incorporate that territory, there's going to be war. Am I not right? Isn't that not predictable?
War is the ultimate result from these kinds of behavior, and certainly the United Nations Security Council can act on this and impose severe sanctions on Venezuela to prevent it from taking any action across the border. Now, having established these companies or given the order to establish these companies in Venezuela doesn't mean that Maduro will take the next step and insert any of these companies' operations into the territory, because if he does so, he would have to provide them with security protection, which means he would be inserting Venezuelan security personnel into Guyana territory, and Guyana would be forced to respond by detaining whatever civilian actors and repelling any security force that might cross the border.
But and given even the threat that of Maduro doing what he has said he's going to do, surely Guyana would be compelled to increase their security presence in the Essequibo region and to do what they have also done, but not with no particularity, call upon their neighbors and their allies to help them to defend their territory. This is.
Yes, CARICOM would be immediately involved.
Yes.
And one of the things that
this is highway robbery.
One of the things that I am looking at,
capture.
Many of the governments who do not at this time recognize the Venezuelan president, how are they going to stand in wanting to go into investment into Guyana? How are the Americans going to go down there and invest?
The Americans mightn't do it, but I'm sure Ambassador Ward will tell us that there are journeymen and highway robbers all over the world who are prepared to invest in order to the super profits of the Essequibo region. What do you say, Ambassador?
Well, I want to answer that question, but may I just address
Sure.
first? Because the president of Guyana last night held a press conference in which he indicated that he is in close touch with the U.S. Defense Department, that Southcom will be backing up Guyana. He said Brazil will be backing up Guyana, and Brazil already has mobilized military forces on the border with Venezuela. And there are a couple of other countries in South America who have also given commitment to Guyana. I haven't heard any similar commitment from CARICOM, by the way. But there's no question that Guyana would have a security shield from its partners in the event Maduro sent troops into Venezuela. And Maduro knows that. So I while he may be talking a lot and talking loudly, he may be bluffing, but we don't know that for sure. In terms of companies that may invest, Hypernal greetings. I know you said countries, but the democratic countries do not control their companies, private companies, unless there are sanctions involved against the country.
Yes.
Yeah,
now,
but
recently, the Biden administration has been easing sanctions against Venezuela to allow the Venezuelan oil company, PDVSA, to develop and sell oil abroad. The easing of the sanctions has allowed Trinidad and Venezuela to pursue an agreement which they had to exploit the gas resources in the territory which is between Venezuela and Trinidad.
Yes.
But I suspect that should Venezuela take any aggressive action, and we have to differentiate between military aggression and verbal aggression. If any military aggression occurs, there will be immediate reaction from the international community. There will be sanctions against Venezuela. The UN Security Council, although one cannot bank on whether Russia or China would support sanctions or any form of military action against Venezuela, I do believe that it could happen. The OAS also would act against Venezuela in this sense. And I believe there would be broad support within the OAS for severe actions against Venezuela.
But to what effect? I mean, they clearly Maduro must have taken these possibilities that you are outlining into account when he launched this particular aggression. It has been suggested, I don't know if you agree, that it is to bolster support for a presidential election next year. Is it just a smoke screen? Is it just a puff and then they will let it go to sleep again? How can that be?
It could also be that Maduro is trying to push Guyana back to one-on-one negotiation with him rather than through the International Criminal Court, because that's what he has been advocating, that only the bilateral negotiation has credibility. But he's wrong. And the international community will side with Guyana on this. And while it may not be mere puffery, should he take military aggressive action against Guyana by inserting his companies supported by military forces into Guyana, I think the reaction would be quick. There would be an embargo on Venezuelan oil. There would be ships enforcing that embargo. It wouldn't be just sanctions. I think to go beyond that, to force Venezuela back within its borders.
What should be the response of CARICOM at this stage, Ambassador Ward? They, as you point out, have it's early days, but they have not made a statement, nor have I heard a statement from our Prime Minister and Foreign Minister who are visiting close to you in Washington.
A statement was made. Even the statement was made, and the PNP has also put out a statement.
No, indeed, I saw those, but I mean subsequent to Mr. Maduro's last salvos.
No, you mean last night.
Uh-huh.
Right. The election, the referendum was held, and Maduro has issued certain directives to state agencies to fulfill what he interpreted as the authorization given to him by the referendum. But CARICOM has so far been silent on this, and I think one of the players that we should watch on this is Trinidad, Barbados, Grenada are also countries to watch, but certainly right at home, Jamaica. Jamaica has failed to take a leadership role. And you mentioned the Prime Minister is in Washington, and that's another story.
Why is it another story, Ambassador? What do you understand he's doing? I gather he met with Jake Sullivan, the National Security Advisor, but in the panoply of problems and concerns in Washington right now, I can't imagine Jamaica is anything but something very minor.
Well, I haven't seen a statement from the Office of the National Security Advisor to the effect that a meeting has occurred. Any readout on the meeting? I haven't really looked for that.
It sounded to me a very brief statement that I saw in somewhere in the media, but that it was more like a courtesy call than anything else. Now, I can't imagine the Prime Minister went just for that. He's not in the habit of telling us what he's going to foreign trips for. But
right. But this would not be the first trip that the Prime Minister has failed to be transparent and explain to the Jamaican people the purpose of the trip and the outcome of the trip.
Yeah.
A release was put out by the Jamaican Embassy a few days ago to say that the Prime Minister would be on a working visit in Washington and is expected to have discussions with members of the Biden administration as well as members of the U.S. Congress and Senate. Well, let me sort of update. There was a holiday reception hosted by the Prime Minister and the Embassy last night, in which members of Congress and members of the Biden administration were invited to the reception. I have tried to get clarification from the embassy. I'm waiting on responses, which I doubt I will ever get, concerning what are the nature of these meetings, if these meetings actually occur or will occur. And I even asked whether the reception was the meeting itself.
Yeah. Wow.
I think when they put out language from the embassy about working meetings and discussions, we expect to learn what it's all about and who he's meeting with. I know for a fact that no meeting has been held or is scheduled with Jamaica's best friend in the U.S. Congress. I know that for a fact. I verified that.
Yeah, but could I
who is our best friend in the U.S. Congress? Representative Walters?
No, actually, Congresswoman Ivexaf.
Okay. Yes.
Let me say, sir, as far as I am concerned, and I hope that some people share my view, the Prime Minister is there today after Maduro's hailing announcement yesterday.
Yes.
Literally said they're walking into Trinidad.
Into Guyana.
Into Guyana.
Uh-huh.
And which is going to affect everybody.
Everybody.
America has to do something, has to say something, because Guyana is not going to sit down. If they have policemen and not soldiers, they have to send police there. Whatever we have to try and defend that part of Guyana's natural country.
Really? You think I'm in favor, but do you think that it is broadly accepted that Jamaica would play a role in repelling Venezuelan incursion into the Essequibo? What is this, another Grenada?
So hold on. What will CARICOM for? CARICOM has to come to the defense of CARICOM members.
They haven't done it with Haiti, sir. But I agree with you. That's what they should.
Say yet. And say yet. And we should have discussed Haiti today because some new things have come out. But anyhow, let's finish with this. I think that the biggest person in all of this is the Biden administration as to what they are going to say to Venezuela, which, in my opinion, Jamaica would be on that line. The rest of the CARICOM would be on that line. We have to protect Guyana.
What do you say, Ambassador Ward?
Well, I expect the U.S., having made the statement that she did last night, that is the president of Guyana, Irfan Ali, having made the statement that he is in discussions with the Southcom, which has jurisdiction, U.S. military jurisdiction over the hemisphere here.
Sure.
And I know the U.S. Defense Department had sent some advisors down to Guyana. About a week ago, I suspect they were here to make certain assessments.
Yes.
I expect to hear, since they have been specifically identified by the Guyana president as backing up Guyana, or in effect, I think the language he used was that they are committed to responding to Guyana's defense.
Yes.
So one would expect that the U.S. government, Biden administration, would put out some kind of a statement very soon. But even if they haven't made a public statement, you can rest assured that there are private communication taking place between the U.S. government and Venezuela right now.
Well, let me just say, sir, don't you believe that the United States would have to come to the backing of Guyana? The United States cannot oppose Venezuela as it has done and stand by and what Venezuela using I'm saying, this Guyana situation to create nationalism within their country, a stronger political system for an election next year similarly.
Well, okay, Ambassador, what do you think of that? But the American position is somewhat conflicted because they have a desire for Venezuelan oil now, don't they? The American economy.
Yeah, but Guyana oil is a lot more than Venezuela can produce at the moment. And ExxonMobil is an American company.
Right, and ExxonMobil is exploiting Guyanese oil.
Right.
Okay.
So, but the point I'm making is, will it be governed, the president of Guyana openly stating that
Southern Command
is ready to support Guyana? I expect that the U.S. government will respond to that statement.
Yes.
But I do believe that the way the U.S. generally operates,
yes,
before they make a public statement that is definitive on any issue, they would have been using
private means, sure, backstage correspondence. But let us end with some clear principle. Territorial integrity obviously must be a major objective of any regional grouping such as CARICOM. Secondly, that our own principles of diplomacy and integrity require the Jamaican government to take an extremely strong stance in favor of Guyana in this instance. And I think we have compromised our relationships with Venezuela to have a great deal of influence, but be that as it may, this is where we are now, and Jamaica should be willing to commit resources. I can't particularize what would be necessary in order to defend our brothers and sisters in CARICOM. Is that a correct final statement, Ambassador Ward?
I think you're very much on target, sir. And I believe at the diplomatic end,
yeah,
with the Prime Minister in Washington,
yeah,
this is an opportune time for him to request an emergency meeting with the not just for pleasantries, but to have serious discussions,
yes,
with them about support for Guyana.
Yes.
You know, don't forget that Jamaica leads the coordination
for the foreign policy. Sure. And
they are right here in Washington. The
yes, Prime
Minister. And
quite so. Yes.
Right here in Washington.
And after the flop with Haiti, we should at least try and redeem ourselves by doing this.
Emergency basis.
Yes, got you.
Because this is an emergency.
My goodness, highway. I got to go.
We have two big problems, though, you know, Guyana and Haiti.
Yes. But don't confuse it too.
Don't confuse it.
But you're right.
That's two national problems.
Yes.
Haiti is getting worse and worse every day.
Well, another time we will have to go into that. Ambassador Ward, thank you so much for being a resource person for us and for Jamaica. We're grateful to you once more. All the best.
You're most welcome.
Thank you. Ambassador Curtis Ward, retired Jamaican diplomat, still very active in diplomatic circles in Washington and the United States. Bringing to an end the Public Eye, an interesting program, Mr. Childs. Thank you very much. We're looking forward to cutting-edge discourse again next week as we approach the Christmas season at the end of the year. Grateful to Jeff and to the staff of the Bridge 99 for giving us this opportunity. And to all our listeners, walk good till we meet again.